What is up, you guys? Nikki here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going over Apple stock. Is Apple worth buying right now? A little bit of an Apple stock analysis, the 4-to-1 split that they are going to be doing here very shortly. So you guys, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Quick disclaimer, you guys, my background, the lighting is all a little bit different. I am up in NorCal at some family's house, so I'm trying to work with what I got. You know, we just working with what we have right now, okay? But in today's video, woo, Lord, okay, damn, where do I start? Okay, so Apple. Y'all already know how I feel about Apple. I adore Apple. You know what? I got hella videos about how I feel about Apple, so if you want to hear more about my fangirling of Apple, you can go ahead and check the channel out, check out all them videos. But today, specifically in this video, we're talking about the split, okay? The 4-to-1 split. What the heck does it mean? What are they doing? Why do it? Should you buy it? Should you wait to buy it? What am I personally doing? So I'm going to go over what all of that means, what all that is, what I plan on doing, all that good stuff. So let's just get it. What is a 4-to-1 stock split, or really any stock split? So essentially what it is, I believe it's a way for the company to, quote, lower the stock price even though nothing really changes, but it lowers it to entice new investors to maybe open a position or get people to buy more into their company if they had not or could not have been able to afford the higher stock price. So currently Apple is around the $415 mark. It's north of $400. So that is not inexpensive. That's not cheap. And so in order to buy one full share, you gotta have some dough, and especially in these times, that's not necessarily what's going on. People don't have extra cash to be throwing at Apple shares right about now. And by doing this, it doesn't really necessarily, like I said, do too much, but it gives the illusion of a cheaper stock, but also kind of the illusion of a cheaper company, sort of, because when you think of like a Tesla or an Amazon or an Apple, and they're in the hundreds or even the thousands of dollars for one share, you just kind of automatically, psychologically, you're like, well, dang, that must be a really good company because the share price is so high. It's not necessarily the case. And so a lot of people kind of either get scared or they don't think they can do it. And so sometimes companies will split the stock to drop that price down lower so people have more of a psychological response that they can afford it, therefore buy more or buy into it. This doesn't change the valuation of the company and the business at all whatsoever. I mean, granted, like, Apple is a beast, a behemoth, dominating just absolutely everything. We already know that, but it doesn't change the valuation just because their share price is lower. So I just want to make sure people understood that, because I did see some people kind of like confused by that. So no, it's not lowering the valuation or expectations of earnings or anything like that of Apple. Essentially, y'all, what they're doing is, like, if you own one share right now, it's around that $400 range. So for easy math, we're gonna use 400 as the cost of what Apple is. So if you have one share, you have $400 worth of Apple. Basically, after this split, the one share is going to turn to 4 shares for $100 each. So essentially, it's the same. You're not losing money, you're not gaining money, you're not getting a bargain, you're not getting a deal, you're literally not getting much of anything. It all remains equal. So for basic math, you would want to take how many shares you have, multiply by 4, and then take the price and divide it by 4. So this whole split stock 4-to-1 is going to be happening on August 28th. For me personally, on August 28th, I currently right now have 2 shares of Apple. So essentially what that's going to mean is I'm actually having 8 shares of Apple, but my total amount of money invested into Apple remains pretty much the same. It's just my share count is different. If I were to buy another share, it's at 1/4 of the cost of what it is currently right now. It's just easier for people to get in, add to, or establish a position in Apple. So you could wonder, why the heck would Apple do this? What honestly is the point? And I'm gonna give you a couple of reasons why I think people think so, and a couple of reasons why I think they're doing it. So word on the street from some other people, you know, they're claiming Apple is doing this kind of for 2 reasons. The first one is one that I had already mentioned, is that Apple wants to come across as more affordable and accessible for the consumer and the investor and that individual who was maybe borderline on investing or what have you. The one hiccup I feel like this reason causes me is the fact that now with most brokerages like Charles Schwab, Robinhood, M1, like almost every single one has fractional shares. So if you wanted to buy just $100 of Apple, you could have just put $100 into Apple and not really mattered about the shares you got. It would just be a dollar amount. But if you're like me and you absolutely hate seeing decimals in your portfolio, then hey, maybe, you know, a split is better for you, because you could just say $100 is one share, bada boom, bada bing. And on the other hand, some people are saying Apple is doing this because of how weighted they are in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So Apple is the top of the 30 companies in the Dow Jones, making up 10% of the Dow. So this kind of is I mean, I think it depends on the investor, but essentially what happens here is because Apple is so weighted in the top and it's 10% of that fund, if you were to invest in an index fund that follows the Dow Jones, essentially you would be investing in 10% of Apple, which when you invest in like ETFs or index funds, you want that diversification across all of the holdings and all of the companies with not so much in one place. And so people argue if they were to put it into an index fund that follows the Dow, they're just oversaturated in Apple because it makes up such a big chunk of it. Because let's say you took $1,000 and bought into an index fund that follows the Dow. Essentially $100 of that is just solely in Apple, which a lot of people, like I said, who invest in those kind of funds want diversification and they don't want too heavy of a spot in one place. So that could turn off a lot of people, I suppose. If you're asking me, I would take whatever percent Apple wants to give me. That's why I believe it's an investor preference. I mean, I wouldn't mind having a high percentage of Apple just because how I feel about Apple, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, Susie Q over there in the other house, she wants, you know, not that. So what the heck am I gonna do? What do I think is going on here? So there's really one big reason and one big kind of thought that I have about this whole thing, and I think Apple is doing this honestly because it wants to appear and come across as more accessible and cheap and affordable for their consumers and their investors. You know, we've been seeing lately Apple products, obviously we know they're hella expensive, like they're not cheap, we know this, but they are working on more lower end, cheaper versions of like iPhones, which is obviously their best seller. So it kind of puts in my brain like, okay, if they're trying to include those people to purchase iPhones at a lower rate and at lower cost than what the average iPhone goes for, then maybe by lowering a stock and a share price, they can get those people to essentially want to invest in company. Essentially, I just think they're seeing it as being their brand. They're being on brand. They are so, well, claim to be so focused on the consumer and the customer and making their life better and working for them and taking what their customers say into consideration. And with these releases of these iPhones being cheaper and now them dropping this share price, it kind of just goes to show that maybe they're making moves to really try to incorporate everyone. I mean, they want to be the dominant player. In my brain, they already are, but there are still people that do not own Apple products, so I think it's kind of their way of showing that they want more people to be more involved in their company. I mean, another example of this is just how carefree, not even carefree, what's the damn word I'm looking for? How smooth, how beautiful, how freaking magnificent it is. I mean, if you're out there, a lot of people don't own just one Apple product. You probably own a minimum of 2, if not 3. But if you're working and you have to work within that ecosystem and those 3 products, it is so seamless. The workflow is untouched. I mean, it's just this like environment, like it's just like easy. So in my brain, with that kind of ease of, you know, user interface and ecosystem and just kind of how seamless it is and how it's really not difficult to figure out Apple products and how they work together, in my brain I'm kind of like, well, if you lower the share price, then it just becomes more of a financial ease for people to invest. It's a lot easier to spend $100 on something than $400. You spend $100, like it's $100, a little expensive, whatever. You spend $400, you're probably talking to your mom, your dad, your spouse. You're talking to people to make sure that purchase is a-okay and it might be the right thing to do, or you might sleep on it, you wait too long, or you just weigh your options more with something that's more expensive. You compare things, you know, you're not so hot out the gate to just buy it. So with the whole idea of like financial ease, with ecosystem ease, usability, is that a word? Nah, girl, I don't think so. Just the whole experience of using Apple and having it be so seamless is so carefree in my brain that like spending $100 to get a share is like, yeah, let's do it. I'll buy Apple, let me invest. Because then they're tapping into those potential investors that never would have took a swing at the share if it was over $300 or $400 or $500. You know what I mean? Can you agree with me? I mean, I don't know. Am I right or wrong? Can you just smash the thumbs up button if you agree with me at this point in the video? video. Look, Apple's just staying on brand if you ask me. They just trying to do their best, stay on brand. So should I, because your girl just talks for herself here, okay? Do your own due diligence, and this is just for entertaining all y'all, but should we buy it? Should we wait, or should we buy it now? And the real simple answer I just want to give you is like, do whatever you want. Because it really doesn't matter. I think it honestly depends on just how many shares or how much money, I guess, you have to offer. If you have $400 to spend on one share, I mean, do it, because that's just going to turn into 4 shares at 100 each, and then you have 4 shares. If you only have $100, then like you have to wait regardless, so it doesn't really matter, because after the split, everyone's one share is still only $100, so it really doesn't matter. It's not really like you're getting a deal. It's a bad time. Like, if you want to invest in it. It's not like, you know, if you buy now, you're gonna have 4 for the price of 1. That's like not how it works. It's all equal. It's all just, it's the same. Because if somebody buys 1 share right now at $400, after the 28th, they have 4 shares. After the 28th, if you only buy 1 share, you have 1 share for $100. 4 shares at $100 each, 1 share at $100. Each one of these shares is only $100, so it doesn't matter when you buy it. Does that make sense? It really just boils down to, do you have $400 to buy into it right now, or do you need to wait and then just buy 1 when it splits? Like, it's all the same, people. It's all the same. I hope that helped you out. It also just comes down to the fact that, like, do you want to invest in Apple or not? Do you believe in the company enough? Do you see enough growth potential? Do they pay dividends? What's the history, the financials, all that kind of good shit? I personally think Apple is a freaking behemoth, and I think it's not slowing down anytime soon, especially with their Q3 earnings. I mean, they're expected now to have a share price of like $480 to $500 by the end of this year in 2020. So, I mean, it's just gonna grow, you guys. It's just, in my opinion, okay, I cannot emphasize that enough, but I am such a strong believer in Apple. And with any investment, like I say, with any purchase of stocks, you have to research the company and, yes, understand financials and numbers, but you have to understand the business and really support the whole model and the management and what they do, their products, what they believe, how they treat their customers, the whole shebang. And for many reasons that I have said and spoken into the world in other videos, I think if you're hesitant, I think buying under $400 up until August 28th would be a good bet. Anything under 400, I think you should buy. Anything under 390, I think you should double buy. I think you should buy 2 if you don't have that kind of money, because like I said a million times, it's going to even out after split anyway, so it doesn't matter. But if you don't have that money, wait till they split it and just buy 1 for $100. There you go. Because I plan on holding Apple for a minimum of 3 to 5 years, but honestly probably more like 10, 15, 20 years, because I just love them and believe in them that much. In my personal opinion, in this whole like Apple stock split 4 to 1, like this hype around what is going on is like literally just noise. Like, the valuation isn't changing, they're still the bomb, they're still growing, they pay dividends. I mean, I think the biggest thing that's coming from this stock split is just hype and PR and marketing around Apple. It's just, they're just flexing a little bit. They're just drawing attention to their brand. It's keeping Apple in the front of everybody's mind, even though it didn't really need help for that, I don't think. Like with any investment, it boils down to you. So I don't know, you guys, did that help you at all kind of understand what's going on here? Because really what I want you to get out of it is it really doesn't make a difference. It just solely kind of falls back on how much money you have to buy it. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree with me? Did you appreciate the video? Please let me know down below. Please smash the damn thumbs up button, because you know we love that shit. And if you are this far in the video and you are not subscribed, what is going on? Hit that subscribe button, hit the NB in the bottom corner, join the crew, join the journey. I post 2 videos a week on this channel, ranging from stocks, investing, money, side hustles. I'm just really into entertaining and educating y'all along the journey, and I just believe in investing for something bigger than ourselves. So if you're into that, or if you're into hanging out with me half as much as I honestly love hanging out with each and every single one of you, please consider subscribing. And if you're this far, you are the real MVP. You gonna get some kisses. Come here, you know I love you. Do me a favor and watch the video that YouTube is going to suggest to you. They think you will find value out of it. And like always, you guys, enjoy the journey, whatever your journey is. And always remember to do what sets your hearts on fire. And I will catch y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.